Today I'm sharing my top 10 books of 2025. These are the books that have lived in my brain rent-free, pulled me out of reading slums, and just completely rewired my reading brain entirely last year. If you told me a year ago that these were going to be the top 10 books of 2025, some of them would actually be quite surprising to me. Not only because they are of different genres that I would have thought I would be reading this year, but because actually more than one of them is from the same author that I only discovered this year. This list is very me. There is fantasy, there is romantasy, there is epic fantasy, there is fantasy romance, there is dark academia, which I've only just picked up this year. But all of the books this year are ones that I know will carry through with me for the rest of my reading life. I'm cheating immediately with a duology, but the Jasad, Heir and the Jasad Crown by Sara Hashem were such a brilliant revelation to me with these books. This is an Egyptian-inspired, I wouldn't say it's a romantasy. I think the Jasad Heir, the first one, is definitely a romantic leaning fantasy, but this book ends up being fully epic, and I could not stop thinking about this book for weeks. It sent me into a slump. It was so good. The way that Sara Hashem creates characters in these books, like, you just want to know every single one of them, and you want to follow them until you can't follow them anymore. I highly recommend this if you do like that sort of like Arabic-inspired epic fantasy with slight romance-leaning plot, but this is enemies to lovers. Like, this is pure enemies to lovers. Like, I cannot get over the two main characters in this, and she just wrote them so good. This is a debut as well. Like, how is that possible? My brain has been completely rewired because of these books. So highly recommend going and reading the Jasad Heir and the Jasad Crown if you haven't already. The next one is Blood Over Brighthaven by Wang. This book quietly ruined me. Yes, it is dark academia, but at the same time, it's much, much more. It is dark fantasy and morally complex in ways that I didn't think a story could be. If you don't mind stories that make you uncomfortable and make you sit with your thoughts for a very long time after you've read it, I highly recommend you read this book. This one has lingered since I read it in I think it was in October, and the themes of this book are forever going to be engraved in my brain. I basically just finished it and stayed into space for a very long time. Next we have Sparrows by Devney Perry. This one actually really surprised me. This was very hyped up on Book Talk, like extremely hyped, so I was very scared. However, the world building that she's created in this story is perfection. The magic, the monsters, the characters, like, I'm very picky when it comes to reading about FMCs, and the FMC in this, Odessa, I really enjoyed reading her story and the way she changed from the beginning to the end of the story. Like, she really grows as a character, and for that, I adored her. There are also parts of this book that I literally sat with my mouth gaped open because I was shocked as to what was written in this. It is brutal in some parts, and really look at your trigger warnings for this, but Devney Perry has done such a great job with this, and I cannot wait to read the second one that is out in April. 2025 was the year that I discovered Madeline Miller, and Madeline Miller has my soul, especially with Circe. I did enjoy Songs of Achilles, but this one took my heart and broke into about 1 million pieces. Her lyrical writing, her retellings, they feel both intimate and human, and the emotional devastation that she delivers through this story is action. This is another book that has really sat with me quite quietly through the year since I read it, and I will never forget the way that she made me feel with her writing when I read this. Circe, I really do think she gave Circe the justice that she deserved in this book, and I cannot wait to see if Madeline Miller writes anything more because I will be instantly there. I'm once again cheating because this is the year that I jumped into the Cosmo by Brandon Sanderson, and the Mistborn trilogy changed my perception as to what I thought high or epic fantasy could be. I thoroughly enjoyed my time reading these. I adored the story, I adored the magic system, and the way that Brandon Sanderson writes is just so captivating. Like, 700 pages just feels nothing when he's writing it. So these have definitely altered my brain chemistry, and I will forever never forget the ending of Hero of Ages because, yeah. And another Brandon Sanderson, and this time it is Tress of the Emerald Sea. I actually read this before I read the Mistborn trilogy, and I'm so glad I did. This was my gateway into Brandon Sanderson, and I know that's probably not the best place to start when reading his Cosmo books, but I needed something that I could get my teeth into and understand the way he writes. This was beautiful. This probably actually got me into my sort of like cozy fantasy romance era because what a wonderful story. Yes, it is a standalone. Yes, there are some Easter eggs that I probably will find out later on when I carry on my Cosmo journey, but this is just a story about friendship and love, and it's just so beautiful. I highly recommend this. If you are scared of starting a Brandon Sanderson journey and you want something just to like your toe in the water, why not start with Tress of the Emerald Sea? Next has to be The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. This was an immediate 5-star as soon as I picked up the book. This one stuck with me since I've read it. Like, the atmosphere that she created, the wit and humour that she put into this book, the characters, the magic. This is the kind of book I want to read when someone says epic fantasy. Like, the world building, just everything in it. But not only that, she's made it so easily accessible. As someone who doesn't really read a lot of epic fantasy, I picked this up and devoured it in days. Like, nearly 700 pages. She just sort of has this way of like drawing you in really easily to the story and the characters, and I cannot wait for the next one to come out. I don't know when the next one is out, but if you have not read The Raven Scholar, please go do it. It is full of like political intrigue, trials, a murder mystery. The characters are older. They are just wonderful to read. Highly, highly recommend this. Next is Swordheart by T. Kingfisher. This isn't the first book that actually got me into T. Kingfisher, but it is one of the ones where you just sit there and read it and go, this is just so ridiculously crazy, and yet it just fills you with such a warm, fuzzy feeling. We follow Hala, who is a widowed woman who comes across a man in a sword, and they basically go on a road trip together to figure out basically how to get her house back, and they just end up in all sorts of trouble. And it's just a typical T. Kingfisher book. It is set in the world of the White Rat. We do meet a lot of other characters from that universe as well. But Sarkis, the MMC in this, is just brilliantly grumpy, and Hala is just a ray of sunshine, and if you like that trope, you will love this book. It is probably one of my favourite relationship dynamics that I have read in a fantasy romance. It is both awkward, sincere, and just deeply respectful, and I thoroughly, thoroughly love these two characters. And last, but by no means least, this is one of my favourite books of the year because this was my gateway into my T. Kingfisher era, and if you don't follow me over on TikTok, please do, because I basically just rap about this book 24/7, but it is, of course, Paladin's Grace by T. Kingfisher. Kingfisher remains one of my all-time favourite authors. These books are always funny, tender, quietly romantic, and just full of older, much more relatable characters that are just trying their best in their everyday lives. And that is why I love her stories. They are so, so relatable. Their inner monologues are something that I thoroughly enjoy reading, and this is no different. It is a fantasy romance for people who are tired of morally grey characters. When you meet Stephen, the MMC in this, he is a green flag walking. He knits socks, and he meets Grace, a perfumer, who together they try and solve a murder mystery. It's just brilliant fun, and like I said, it's my gateway into T. Kingfisher, and I haven't looked back ever since. I'm also not one for showing how much I enjoy things, but this book literally has opened my eyes to being able to showcase the things that I love to people constantly and over again. I will forever recommend this book to people that enjoy this sort of style of writing. She has this kind of wit and humour, but also adds this like creepy atmosphere, and she is her own voice. You can tell you are reading a T. Kingfisher book when you pick up a T. Kingfisher book, and that is what I enjoy about her writing. If you've read any of these, tell me which ones you've loved or disagreed with the most, and let me know if you put any of these on your TBR for 2026. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, follow, do whatever you want to do, and I'll see you in the next one.